friends, welcome back. Today we are going to be making sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is just an incredibly healthy food. It's one of the healthiest. In fact, it has so much probiotic power that a tablespoon of it has been measured to have more probiotics in it than like an entire bottle of probiotics, which is pretty incredible. Sauerkraut does wonders for your gut health and digestion because it's got all of those wonderful probiotic enzymes in it. It's got a lot of vitamin C, which can help your immune system majorly. It's got a lot of vitamin K, which can help your heart health and all sorts of things. So this really is a superfood, and it is incredibly cheap and so easy to make. So we are going to spend some time making sauerkraut today. And when I say that this is quick and easy, I really mean this is quick and easy. There is not much to it. You need a head of cabbage, some salt, and a jar, and that's pretty much all you need other than like a knife to cut it with. The first thing you want to do is peel these outer leaves off because they are the ones that were exposed outside. This we're gonna go ahead and peel, get it nice and clean. We've already cleaned the cabbage too really well. When you're fermenting, you just want everything to be nice and really sterile and clean. That includes any utensils you use and the jar you use and everything. The next thing I'm going to do is remove one more cabbage leaf, and I'm going to save a whole cabbage leaf so that I can put it on top, and I'll show you this and why in a minute, but let's just save this whole cabbage leaf. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the core of this cabbage, okay? Now that I have that removed, all I'm going to do next is chop this up. Now, how big you chop it depends on your personal preference and what you like your sauerkraut to be. So I'm going to chop it pretty fine. If you want it really, really fine, you can run it through a food processor. Lisa from Farmhouse on a Boone does this, and it makes it really quick work, but we only have one cabbage today, and I'm not really that concerned about it, so we're just going to chop it with our knife. Let me show y'all my super cool cutting board. This is an Iowa shaped cutting board, and we're not in Iowa. We're in Oklahoma, if you know that. But I had a speaking engagement in Iowa a few months ago, and the sweet ladies gave me this Iowa cutting board, and it's got like all of the wood in it is made from native Iowa trees, which anyway, super fun. So if you're watching and you're one of the ladies from the Iowa Ladies Day, hello, and look, I still use my cutting board. It's so awesome. So thank y'all. Anyway, there's your super cool nugget for the day. Okay. So all we're going to do is we're going to cut this up into little strips, and we're going to put it in this big bowl. Here we go. Now we have this big full thing of just shredded cabbage, basically. We're going to take some salt. I use Redmond's real salt, but you can use whatever kind of salt you want. And I'm going to put 1 tablespoon per pound of cabbage. This is a 3-pound cabbage, so I'm going to put 3 tablespoons in here. And this cabbage we got from Azure Standard. They have delicious fresh produce. I can put the link down below. It's amazing, especially right now because nothing's growing in my garden because we're in the middle of winter. Now all you want to do, and this is super easy, make sure you have nice clean hands, and we are just going to reach in here and we are going to just crush up the cabbage. And the cabbage is going to naturally start to make this its own brine. The salt is going to pull the moisture out of it. So let's go ahead and let's start crushing. Now I have a few Mason Tops tools that help with this fermentation process, but really you don't need them. You can just squish this with your hands. I'm going to use this little masher, and I have a pickle pipe and a weight that we'll talk about, but also you don't have to have anything except a jar. Like, none of these special tools are necessary. They make your life a little easier, but aren't necessary. I will link them down below, so if you want to check them out, you can. And as you can see, the more that we get it squashed down, pulverized, the more of this juice comes up. That's what we want. All right, and then the only other thing left to do, once this starts to get pretty crushed and juicy in here, we are gonna start putting it in this jar. I'm using a quart jar, but you can really use any size jar. And what you wanna do, you don't wanna fill this all the way, but as you're filling this, you wanna crush it down a little. You can use your fist, or you can use the handy dandy little Mason Tops jar pusher thing. And you want to push it down, but what you want to make sure that you don't do is fill this jar all the way to the tippy top, because if you fill this jar all the way to the tippy top, what's going to happen is you're going to get an explosion in your pantry as the gases ferment and release. So you don't want that. And as I'm getting closer to the top, I'm going to go ahead and pour some of the brine that's in the bottom of this bowl in to cover it. Now, if you do not have enough brine in your cabbage to cover the top of it, because what the brine allows for is for this cabbage to sit beneath the air. If you don't have enough brine to do this, to accomplish this, then you can mix up your own brine with salt water, but you want to use nice purified water, because if you just use tap water, a lot of times the fluoride can kill some of the bacteria that's growing, and you want the good kind of bacteria to grow and thrive. And I'm not going to put a whole lot more because I know that this is going to expand, and I do not want it, like I said, to kind of overflow in my pantry. Now here comes the use case for your lettuce leaf. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this lettuce leaf over top, and I'm going to make sure it covers up and pushes down all the tiny little loose pieces that might come up in my brine. So make sure this gets pushed under the brine. And now I'm going to take a weight. You don't have to. If you make sure this is pressed down really well, that's fine. Weight gives it an extra little precaution. This is another Mason Tops product. You can even get like a heavy rock from outside and sterilize it really well. But here I'm going to put a weight and just make sure everything stays down underneath. Because that, if you've ever had mold in your ferments, it comes from things being on top of the brine. So you just want to make sure everything is down there underneath the brine so that it does not come in contact with the air. And when I told you this was easy, that's all there is to it. There's a couple of options for putting the lid on this. I'm using a Mason Tops pickle pipe. The pickle pipes have a natural air release so that when the gas builds up, it naturally releases, but you can use just a regular mason jar lid. What you'll want to do if you use a regular mason jar lid is go check on it every day and do what's called burp, and you just twist it and let the air out every day. This just is a little more hands off. So since I have them, I'm using them. Again, I'll link these products below if you want them, but you do not have to have these to start a ferment. Fermenting is one of the cheapest things to get into. And we're just going to seal it up. This is going to sit in a dark, cool place for about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how sour you like it. The longer you let it sit, the more sour it gets. You do want to check on it every once in a while. Make sure nothing's floating to the top, because remember, like we said, if something's floating on the top, it's going to create mold. So you want to keep all that out. You want to make sure that it's burping and the gas is releasing from it. You want to make sure there's plenty of brine. If for some reason the brine evaporates, you can always add more. You want to add like a teaspoon of salt to some distilled water, put that in here, and then that'll work as your brine. But this should be ready, like I said, in 2 to 4 weeks. Then it's ready to go for you to enjoy the probiotic goodness that is your homemade sauerkraut. Again, one of the easiest way to get into fermentation, a super, super, super food. And when you pull this out, when it's done fermenting and you start to use it, you will want to store it in the fridge. If you enjoyed this and you got something out of it, leave us a comment. What do you like to ferment? What are you looking forward to fermenting? We love building community in our comment section, so please do comment. We'll probably take the time to answer you personally, but let us know what you're thinking, what you're working on. We love to hear it. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. That really does help us out. Y'all have a wonderful day.